Hey, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Mary Guy, the face and the voice behind this YouTube channel, and I am on this self-growth journey of intentionally studying, implementing, meditating on self-discipline and how I can utilize this very significant skill in meeting my monthly goal. And I'm here to give you my progress on May the 6th. So I will be sharing with you how I've made progress on my goals for May the 6th. If this is your first video watching from my channel, there are some previous videos where I kind of go into the intro of self-discipline, what it means, the key aspects of self-discipline, how to develop, and why it's important pretty much. And day by day, my goal is to kind of take you on the journey and share with you guys how I've progressed towards meeting my goals for each month. This is my first month of May. I have a total of 6 goals. So today I'm here to do just that. And also, after I share my progress on my goals towards the end of the video, so stay tuned. I have some information, some more tips regarding behaviors, habits, and routine, and how those 3 things are important as it relates to self-discipline, building self-discipline. So I will be sharing that towards the end of the video. So I'm going to first start off by showing you my goals again, my May 2025 goals, and walking you through my progress on each of those goals. So stay tuned. So let's start by reviewing my May 2025 goals. I have a total of 6 of them, and I make them very short and sweet because I don't want to overwhelm myself. And then I also want to make it to where I'm able to actually measure how I'm doing on these goals. So my goal number 1 is to earn at least $2,000 from a supplementary income venture that I have. Goal number 2 is to pay off Chase credit card, which is a total of $13.66 and 7 cents. Goal number 3 is to lose at least 10 pounds. My starting weight as of April 27th, 2025 was 239 pounds. So I will be tracking that and sharing with you guys how I've made progress on that. Goal number 4 is to start a sequel course on Microsoft to advance skills. My 5th goal is to read, study, and meditate on self-discipline. And then my 6th goal is to implement discipline in all areas of my life. All right, so let's see my progress on each of these goals. So let's start by looking at goal number 1. So to earn at least $2,000 from my supplementary income, I created this calendar here to kind of keep track of day by day whether or not I was able to earn money, and if so, how much of it I earned. And then at the end of the week, I give a total for that week, and then I subtract that total from the $2,000, and then I'm just going to keep a running total of that throughout the month to give me an idea on whether I'm on track to reaching my goal or whether I need to get back on track by maybe doing some extra stuff in order to reach the goal. So that's what I'm here to do today, is to kind of share and show that on the first day I actually earned $63.29. On the second day, I earned $132.83. Third day, I earned $169.39, which brings it to a total of $370.61 for that first week, last week, which gives me a remaining amount of $1629.39. This week on Sunday, I wasn't able to earn any money on Sunday. On the 5th, same thing. I had some Sunday I had church, and then I had things after church. Monday I had work, and then I had some things planned after work, so I wasn't able to utilize those 2 days. So my game plan from my video yesterday on my progress is that I was planning on actually earning money today. So let's see, did I actually earn money today? Yes, I actually did. I actually earned $56.75. So if I were to stop here, because I had a game plan, and based on that remaining balance, that's 1629 from last week. I took that and I divided it by 4, and I got that I would have to earn $407.35 on about $470.35 each week following for these next 4 weeks in order to reach my $2,000 goal. So let's say that I am aiming to earn that $400 this week. Well, I've already earned $56.75. So I'm going to subtract that from the $407.35 just to see how much money I would have left this week to earn to get on track. So $407.35 minus $56.75 gives me a remaining balance for this week that I need to earn $350.60. And I know on Wednesday I should be able to earn money, Thursday, Friday, but Saturday again I will be out of town. I'll actually be traveling on that day, so I won't have the time to earn any money. So I would have to divide this remaining amount for this week, the $350.60, by 3, because I only have 3 more days where I can earn this week. And that gives me how much I need to aim for each day, which is about $117 each day. So if I were to earn $117 on Wednesday, $117 on Thursday, $117 on Friday on average, I would reach the goal that I need. I actually go a little bit above it because I rounded it up. So, needless to say, is it reasonable for me to actually earn $117 on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Now, on Friday, generally that's a busier peak day. Thursday, sometimes depending. Wednesday, also sometimes depending. So, I'm going to look back at my trend real quick to kind of give an idea in my mind of whether or not it's reasonable, whether or not I've actually earned that in the past on either Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because I have a tracking tool. Okay, so one Thursday, last Thursday, actually, I don't want to necessarily use last week because I already know what that is because I have that on the screen. So let me find a day where I earned on the Thursday and kind of get an idea. Okay, so one Thursday, I actually, let's see though. One Wednesday, and I guess that includes also Thursday. I'm trying to see the time that I started. So a Wednesday, actually in April, the week of April the March the 31st to April the 6th, I actually earned over $100 on Wednesday. Well, actually, I earned $90.75 on Wednesday, which might filter off into the following day. Yeah, I was able to earn, and then Thursday I was able to earn $126.23. Some of these days kind of filter over into the next day depending on the time. If it goes beyond midnight, it'll kind of capture it together. So it appears that I've had some days on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday where I've actually earned that amount and more. And now there are some days where I've actually earned less than that, but I just wanted to kind of get in my mind whether or not I've had days where I've actually earned that. And so I'm going to be aiming towards earning those $117 for these next 3 days leading into the weekend. And I'll come back and see if we're on track and if I'm on progress with reaching that. Okay, so the next goal is to pay off the Chase credit. I'm not on schedule to do anything with this particular goal until May the 10th. So I gave myself all the way until Saturday to actually um, put money on the put money towards my account. And then actually I'm going to probably bump this up because in the previous video, I'm actually going to change these dates a little bit because my bill is due on the 25th of each month. So that means as a credit card, if I leave a balance on there, like for example, if I were to pay $342 on the 10th, $342 on the 17th, and $342 on the 24th, well, my bill is due, this balance is due on the 25th, and I would have something remaining on it. I would have the remaining $340.07 remaining on this. So if I leave that on that when my bill is due, it's going to accrue interest. So I would actually probably be paying a little bit more than that if I let it go beyond. So I might wind up just combining these two, but I'm going to just leave it how it is right now just to see if I'm able to, just to keep it as a reasonable benchmark. And if I do have to pay some type of interest there, I would. I try to avoid paying interest when it comes to credit line, is try to get that paid off within the month. Don't spend as much as you can pay off in a month and get it paid off within the month so that you don't have to pay interest on it. So that's my overall goal plan as far as my budgeting strategies when it comes to paying off credit cards or paying off any bills, especially the ones that have interest, like that I have to actually pay interest on if I continue keeping it open. So no progress there. My goal number 3, to lose at least 10 pounds. My starting weight, as I shared earlier, was 239 pounds on April the 27th. My goal is to lose 10 pounds. So on this chart, I'm keeping track every Sunday on what my weight is. And then I'm also figuring out how much more I have left to lose before the end of this month so that I'm able to reach my goal. So I weighed myself on May the 1st. I weighed at 237, which gave me 8 more pounds to lose. I weighed myself also on May the 4th, and I was at 235 and 2/10 of a pound, which gives me 6.2 more pounds to lose. And I've already done the calculations on that. If I were to take 6.2 pounds divided by 4, that would give me about 1.55 pounds that I need to lose on these next few weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4. So on the 11th, I should be somewhere around 233. On the 18th, somewhere around 232. On the 25th, somewhere around 230. And then somewhere around 299 in order to reach my goal. And hopefully, there is a chance that I could exceed that goal. So I left it open in it by saying at least, because I don't want to limit my goal. All right, so the 4th goal, start SQL course on Microsoft to Advanced Skill. I actually started on May the 4th. So I've actually already completed this goal because my goal was pretty much reasonable, probably a little bit on the low end because of all the focus I have to put on the other goals that I have. So with the time limits and so forth. But I am planning on at least trying to do more than just start and actually hopefully complete at least one of these modules. And then my 5th goal is to read, study, and meditate on discipline. Last week, I shared what resonated with me about my studies. And that was, with discipline, the average person can rise further than intelligence and talent alone will take them. And the ordinary person can become extraordinary. On the other hand, an educated, talented person without self-discipline will rarely rise above mediocrity. So that's just something that came from the book, The Power of Self-Discipline by Daniel Walter. And once I read that, I was like, wow, that's a powerful statement. It's something to keep in mind as I'm going through this, to just show it kind of embodies the whole importance of self-discipline and why it's important for us and me to um, master this skill, so that we can rise further than what our intelligence and talents will take us. We're going to hit a glass ceiling if I just try to base my productivity, my success on my talent and intelligence without self-discipline. I'm just going to be mediocre. And I don't want to be mediocre. I want to try to be my best. I want to try to grow and learn each day. And then this week, I will continue reading it. I did kind of glimpse over it, and it does relate to what I've actually studied aside from reading the book, which is behavior, routine, and habit are interconnected tools that significantly contribute to developing self discipline. By understanding how to cultivate these elements, individuals can build stronger willpower and achieve their goals more effectively. So, in the book, the next part that I will be reading, it does go into like willpower and self discipline, and it talks about when you can or should use those, because if you use it too much, if you use either or too much, you could get burnt out and it may not be as effective. So therefore, there we have these other skills, behavior, routine, and habits that are there to kind of help us and aid us to build a stronger willpower so that we won't get burnt out, or I won't get burnt out, and therefore I'm able to achieve my goal more effectively. And so I will be sharing a little bit more detail on this at the end of the video to kind of get a good idea of what that statement that I just shared means. So please stay tuned so that I can share that with you guys. Goal number 6 is to implement discipline in all areas of my life. I am getting to a point where I'm narrowing down on how I actually implemented this discipline, but I probably just wait until the end of this week sometime to kind of put it all together and jot down and share with you guys how I implemented discipline in my mind as it relates to mental, career, finances. So that's what my goal is for this week. And then the next week, I will focus on implementing discipline in my body, in the areas of body. And then the third week, implementing discipline in my heart. And then the final week of the month of May, I'll be focusing on how to implement discipline in my soul. So, as it relates to my May 2025 goals, I did share this tracking sheet and I have a snippet of it on the screen to kind of show each day of May, 1st through 6th, how I actually worked on those goals. So goal number 1, I've actually worked on it a total of 4 out of the 6 days so far. Goal number 2, this one's kind of a little different. It's going to be measured differently because there's only 4 times in this month that I have scheduled out to actually work towards the goal. And that is on the 10th, the 17th, the 24th, and the 31st, which are the Saturdays for this month. Goal number 3, losing at least 10 pounds. I've actually worked on that every day because every day I have to make nutritional decisions. I go to the gym. I try to stay active. I've actually been using my watch to track my steps. And my goal on my phone is for me to reach 10,000 steps. And I actually was able to do that for the most part the past few days up until last week, going over 10,000. So I've been consistently working on that every day because I can't take any days off. Days off would mean when it comes a weigh in, I might not meet my benchmark weight. So I have to consciously decide each day to work towards this goal by all of my nutritional and health decisions that I'm making, what I'm eating, whether I go to the gym, and so forth. I will share that this morning It was a struggle getting up. I actually got up a little later than what I normally do, but I've etched out time to where it still gave me a reasonable amount of time in the gym this morning. But sometimes that took me self-discipline to get up. That took me the willpower to push myself to get up and actually stick to my routine that I have set into place. The sequel, I've only worked on that on May the 4th, and hopefully I'll be able to work on that again because I'm projected to complete module 1 on the 7th, which is tomorrow. So I know I only have 2 more units in module 1 to do, and that was the exercise and the assessment. And I shared that in a previous video. I shared the website, and I also have the website linked below, just in case anyone is interested on going on Microsoft, learn.microsoft.com to look at what courses are out there and available for you to learn for free. Reading and studying and meditate on self-discipline, that's going to be a daily implementation of that, actually studying and reading, because I'm having to consciously think about, especially when it comes to just specifically like goal number 3 or any of these goals, I'm having to think about and meditate on self-discipline. How can I maintain this self-discipline while I am reaching towards my goal? And then goal number 6, ways in which I'm implementing them. I can actually put a check mark for the 4th because that's actually when I started focusing on implementing it at the beginning of this week. All right, so I want to focus more on my statement here for my goal number 5 and what I've actually studied today. So behavior, routine, and habit are interconnected tools that significantly contribute to developing self-discipline. By understanding how to cultivate these elements, individuals can build stronger willpower and achieve their goals more effectively. So I want to now kind of share just some tidbits on this statement and kind of understanding the differences between behaviors, routine, and habit. And in a later video, I'll actually share how to develop these and how they can be used and how I've actually used it to help me with reaching several of my goals. So starting out with behaviors. So behaviors are any action, interaction, or reaction an individual performs encompassing both conscious and unconscious action. So there are some things that we can do without thinking, and there are some things that we have to put a little thought in order to get it done. And I think of an action as any verb. Anything that you do is a behavior. Eating, for example, eating, walking, talking, or even thinking. So broad category of actions, and it can be a single or part of a sequence. So behaviors can be one action or it can be a series of actions that happen. A part of behaviors is routines. So a routine is a series of behaviors that are frequently repeated in a specific order, often requiring some conscious effort. So often requiring conscious effort. Not saying always requiring conscious effort. So an example of those would be getting ready for work, a daily exercise routine, or preparing a meal. You might do it the same way every single time. So it might become a routine that you're either consciously thinking about while you're doing it or not conscious, because it says often, it can often require some conscious effort. So a key characteristics of routines is that it can involve multiple actions, may require conscious effort, then habits, and can be designed with a specific goal in mind. For example, I have a gym routine. My gym routine is, I put that in place because of my goal, my health goal. So I have my specific health goal in mind. I know that I'm trying to lose weight and get healthier. So I know I need to have some type of routine in the gym to aid with that. So that's a good example of routine. And then the behavior would be um, getting up, getting ready for the gym, so forth and so on. Those are behaviors. And then the routine is go into the gym at the set time that I have, that I go to the gym. So we have behaviors and then routines that is like a part of behaviors. Some behaviors become routine. Not all behaviors become routine. So only certain behaviors become routines. And then we have habits. So habits is a behavior that becomes automatic, repeated, and often unconscious. So it's something that you can do without thinking. Something that you've gotten into the routine of doing that doesn't really require much thought anymore because you've kind of mastered it, or it could just be that you have learned to do it, so now it is just a habit. And some examples of that is brushing your teeth, waking up at a certain time, or chewing gum. A habit of mine is I don't use alarms to wake up in the morning. I've kind of, I guess my body has gotten aligned or in sync with the habit of when I actually wake up in the morning, to where I just naturally just wake up at that time each morning. And so that would be my example of a habit. Another habit is for me as it relates to my goals. Well, actually, a habit is making my goals. I've made a great habit of budgeting. I've made a great habit of tracking my progress on my goals. And so those to me would be. So just a key aspect of habits to help you better understand is that it requires little conscious effort once established. So once you establish it, once I've established my goals and tracking, it's little to no effort. Once I've established um, getting up at 5 o'clock, it's little effort to get up at 5 o'clock. Often feels uncomfortable if not performed. So if I don't get up at my normal time, I'm going to kind of be off track for the rest of the day because I might be rushing and it just doesn't feel like natural. It just doesn't feel natural anymore. I'm kind of off the train track of making progress. So to kind of share some more stuff that makes it a little bit clearer on behaviors, the differences between behaviors, routines, and habits is that only some behaviors can become habits. As you can see in this chart, it kind of behaviors include habits. Habits is a small part of behaviors. Some of the behaviors can become habits. Not all of them are. There are some behaviors that you may want to continue to think through more, because habits are something that you don't have to put much effort. It's kind of automatically happening. You actually automatically do it without thinking. And so rightfully so, it makes sense that all behaviors can't or should not be habits. So it shouldn't be a goal of mine to make every single one of my behaviors a habit. It would kind of defeat the purpose of having habits if everything's going to be a habit. Some things need to be a habit so that it makes it more effective for you. Another point is that habits are a type of routine, but not all routines become habits. And we can see that from this visual. I came up with this visual because of the way it was describing to me. It's saying that all habits, habits are a type of routines. But as you can see, there are some parts here. There are some routines that are not included in the habit circle. So that's pretty much a visual representation of what this statement is saying. Habits are a type of routine, but not all routines become habits. A third point is, unlike a routine which feels uncomfortable to do, in the case of a habit, not doing a behavior feels bad. So there's a habit to wash your hands before you eat. There's a habit to bathe before you go to bed. There's a habit to just different habits. And so if you don't do that, you're gonna feel a little bit, oh, I didn't wash my hands. That's kind of gross to not do that. So yeah, so behaviors, routines, and habits are very important to establishing self-discipline because it helps with not burning out. So if you can establish if you can make some of your behaviors routines, and you can make some of those routines habits, it gives you more willpower to complete the task because you got some that are just happen automatically, some that you have to just do with a little thought, but you have a routine in place so you know exactly how to do it each time. And then the other behaviors, they're just happening sporadically. So if everything is happening sporadically, that doesn't give you much efficiency because now you got to really kind of weed out, okay, do I know how to do this? How do I do this? Am I going to do this the same? If you're going to do it different every single time, then it would kind of make it not efficient. So what things can you set up as a routine? What things can I set up as a habit? And how do I actually do that? So in a later video, I will share some strategies on how to set up or how to develop routines, how to develop habits, and the pros and the cons of those. So for now, I'm just going to close by saying that I hope that what I am sharing and me being vulnerable and sharing my progress on my goals, and also sometimes I might fail or might not reach my goal, but just sharing that, I hope it encouraged someone. I know it encourages me, it holds me accountable. So I'm just hoping that the same thing is true for you guys. So please comment, subscribe below. There are some links that I will be sharing underneath this video relating to behavior, routines, and habits. There's an article that kind of walks through the whole detail of what I noted and that you can click on and like. There are some groups on social media on Facebook that I'll continue to link below in the description box. There are two groups that I mentioned in a previous video about dieting strategies. So if you're interested in learning more about that, go to that episode video and watch it, and then click the links below to join those groups if you're needing more support. What else? I also have a link to the book that I'm actually reading, The Power of Self-Discipline. So that's linked below. So you're free will to go and click on that and purchase it on your own. And then there's something else that I also have linked below as well. Um, but all the different things are linked below in the description box. Let me see if I can see exactly what that third one is, or that last one that I'm trying to think about, but I can't. So let's just see real quick. Hopefully this doesn't play. Oh, okay. So I just have the book. Oh, I have a website, Life Areas for a Well-Balanced Life. That kind of goes along with my sixth goal. The life areas, the mind, body, heart, and soul. So I have that linked below as well. So until next time, I would want, let me go back here. I hope that you guys have a blessed day, and I will be checking back with you guys tomorrow to see how I progress towards the goals that I've set out to reach.